David Hogg's Good Pillow has just had a massive failure, as the founder of Good Pillow quits the venture, because at the end of the day, liberals just can't into business. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on the internet we're going to be talking about David Hogg quitting Good Pillow. Oh no! Many of you have probably heard about the spat between David Hogg and Mike Lendell. Mike Lendell is the inventor of MyPillow, a very popular pillow product. I think it uses foam, and it's highly regarded. Now, Mike Lendell is a bit of a controversial character because he is an avid Trump supporter and critic of the Democrat establishment. And then there's David Hogg, the political grifter, the leech, the guy who literally used a tragedy to get famous. He decided that he was going to launch Good Pillow, or should we say, Our Pillow. But we're going to talk about this, folks, and more, because the responses to this have been absolutely hilarious. But before we do, remember to like and subscribe. Hit the bell button for notifications for more content, and share this video. And now for a quick word from our sponsor. Aren't you tired of this pandemic? Don't you wish you had a fun, enjoyable game that you could play with your friends or family? Well, you're in luck. Introducing Virtue Signal, the card game. Virtue Signal is a card game parody of social justice activism. Become the SJW and fight the other players to amass an army of NPCs. So we currently have the base game, Virtue Signal, which is $29.98. However, there are multiple expansion packs, card expansion packs, which greatly expand on the mechanics in the game. If you're like me, you like complex, fun games. And if you get the game now, you can get all of the expansions, all of the cards, including a card with yours truly, for only $56.98. Make no delay and get yours today by clicking on the link down below. And we're back. So David Hogg is being slammed by people online. It is hilarious. He's being roasted. Here Dinesh D'Souza says, a big talker explains why starting a successful business is hard. Too hard for him. So he's going to give up on Good Pillow and do easier stuff, like his classwork at Harvard, leaving the hard stuff to the real doers like Mike Lendell. Burn! And here you can see a Twitter thread where David Hogg, the political grifter, says, 1. A couple weeks ago, a very spontaneous interaction over Twitter between me and William Legate led us to start trying to start a progressive pillow company. Now, here's the funny thing. David Hogg had this magical idea. Well, I'm going to make a pillow company, and I'm going to make it progressive and left-wing. Well, guess what? Turns out, David Hogg is a massive failure who doesn't know anything about business. Because guess what? It is literally impossible to do a progressive pillow without it costing like $500. He goes on to say, too, the goal was, and still is, to create a great pillow that is sustainably produced in domestic unionized factories and have a percentage of those profits benefit progressive social causes. So, what he was trying to do was create a profitable business using the worst methods possible. And I have a feeling that this is a fatal flaw of many, many leftists. They don't understand how business actually works. So when they see a pillow company or they see a soda company or any company, they automatically assume that that company is simply greedy, that they don't want to pay people, that they're evil. Like if you're rich, you're bad. But they don't actually understand what it means to run a business. So when David Hogg says that he wants to have factories in the United States, he wants the workers to be unionized, he wants a percentage of the profits to go to causes, I don't think he's actually crunched the numbers. Because literally, since he started this project, he has failed to do anything he has just said. He goes on to say, he gives his excuses. Oh, I have activism, schoolwork, family commitments. Let's talk about a little bit more about David Hogg. And I'm going to do that by highlighting a scathing comment by author, host, and comedian Tim Young. He says, David Hogg got rich and famous by capitalizing on the death of his classmates. Now, what he's referring to is the Parkland school shooting, a massive tragedy in which many people died. Now, I've never liked David Hogg for the following reason, for the same reason that I don't like a lot of these activists. He basically used that tragedy to become rich and famous. He wasn't even in danger at the time. And you're telling me that this snot-nosed little brat got rich and famous, and then he says, I want to ban all guns. I want to violate your constitutional rights to own and bear a firearm. It literally says in the Constitution, shall not be infringed. Now, a lot of his arguments are also like brainlet tier. Like, he's not a very smart person. He thinks that the NRA should be shut down and that guns are bad and that we're just going to shut down guns. And this is what annoys me about the narrative around guns these days. Look, the reason that these tragedies keep happening is because we live in a society that is completely and utterly rotten. Society is absolutely toxic. We live in this world where progressive ideology and woke politics is being shoved down people's throats. Children are being taught that they're evil just because of the color of their skin. Identity politics is cancer. Identity politics is sick. It is making people insane. And when we live in a world that is so corrupt and distorted, what do you expect? Do you expect people to not go insane? I've said many years ago as a teenager, I think that these tragedies will increase in the future because every time one of these things happens, they blame the guns instead of the problems of our decrepit, decadent, corrupt society. But what do I know? I'm just the guy who points out the obvious. Now, here's the interesting thing about this little event. Not only is David Hogg quitting the business, he actually gave up all of his shares. I can only wonder why that is. Probably because his company is not profitable whatsoever. There's nothing to gain by staying there, so he's officially quitting the company, and the company will most likely fail. Because liberals and leftists do not understand basic economics, they do not understand business, they are doomed to failure. And him quitting pretty much proves that he was never cut out to be a real businessman. And this is also why you don't want these people in charge of your politics. Because if they're in charge, they're going to make decisions that destroy the economy and ultimately put you, the American worker, any worker really, all over the world really, because America has an impact on all countries, just about. You're all going to lose money. You're all going to suffer. We've already seen it in places like California and New York. Anywhere run by Democrats becomes high tax, low wage, and an absolute crap hole, let's be honest. I mean, look at what Biden has already done. Higher taxes, higher oil prices, all because he hates a good economy, because he is a leftist. Now let's read people nay-naying this guy so hard. Is that the proper term that the Zoomers use? Nay-nayed? Ed Jones says, translation, I know nothing about business, and my Harvard education is a sham gift because I am an ideologue. I bring zero value to any company, and the company is much better off if I'm not involved. Life is much easier when other libs give me money for being a prop. Oh, man! I haven't witnessed war crimes that bad since Hiroshima. Now, this kid is absolutely insufferable. Like, if I were a fence sitter or a grifter, I would say something like, I'm not going to rag on David Hogg. I'm going to congratulate him when he says things that are good. I mean, who could be such a fence sitter? I'm going to laugh at him. I'm going to judge him. And, I'm just going to point out that he failed. I wish he would just admit that he failed. He failed his good pillow company, and his company is doomed. There will never be a good pillow, and if there is, it's going to be like $500 because the cost of production will be so high, because they want to be progressive. I guess liberals will buy it. They got a lot of money, apparently. So, you know what? More power to them. Go on, David Hogg. Fly away into the sunset to another country and never come back. Read this paragraph on the NY Post. The so-called pillow fight had been greeted with ambivalence by Lindell himself, who had responded to Axios that there's nothing wrong with competition that does not infringe on someone's patent. So there you go. This is pretty much the story, folks. David Hogg does not belong in Harvard. He's not that intelligent. He's not that smart. Doesn't really have a lot going for him, in my opinion, other than his political grifting. And I think that he's a despicable person for using a tragedy to get ahead in life. That is sickening, folks. That is disgusting. I mean, I would say that is borderline sociopathic behavior. But I think it's clear that he's a failure at business, and I wouldn't be surprised if he also flunks out of university, out of Harvard, but I'm sure that they're just going to give him some honorary degree anyway. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Let me know down below in the comment section. As always, please support the channel by joining me on Patreon or Subscribestar. Joining will give you access to Fight Club, a private Discord server. I hang out there, we chat sometimes, we stream sometimes. Sometimes it's honestly a disaster. But if you want to join, go ahead and join. You can also donate via donor box or with crypto. Sharing the video helps a lot, and consider checking out my sponsor, Virtue Signal, the card game. Or one of my other sponsors, a lot of good stuff. We've got soap, all natural, no chemicals, support veterans, we got headphones, all in the description. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'll see you all next time.